Yemen President on Monday approved the death sentence. Nimisha Priya, who was convicted of murder, is likely to be executed in a month's time. Though Nimisha's family was engaged in negotiations with the victim's family to secure a waiver of the death penalty, discussions heeded to no results. She was convicted of the murder of the Yemeni national Talal Abdo Mahdi. The incident occurred in 2017. Nimisha overdosed Mahdi with sedatives in order to obtain her passport from his possession. She was convicted in 2018. Right now, the Indian government is trying to extend all help to Priya's family. We have our colleague Mohammad Ghazali for more on this story. Ghazali, yesterday the news came that a death penalty has been served on Nimisha Priya. The Indian government swung into action today, trying to give all help to the family. But as one understands that the family, her mother particularly, has been there in the Yemeni capital for the last 1 year. She had also secured help from local NGOs who had raised a lot of money for Nimisha Priya. What was really happening back then? What did the government not do then and they're doing now?
See, the case is very complex because Nimisha Priya from Kerala left for Yemen back in 2011 when the Arab Spring had not happened. And in 2014, her husband and her kid came back to India, and since then she was being tortured by this Talal, the person, the Yemeni national who was killed later by Priya. He had also sort of seized her passport, was torturing and harassing her sexually and physically. During a dispute, before he was killed in 2017, there was a dispute between Nimisha Priya and that Yemeni national, and when she registered a complaint with the local police, Nimisha was arrested rather than the accused national, and there she befriended one of the jail wardens, as per the local Arab reports, who suggested that if you want to retrieve your passport, give him some sedative and then you can recover your passport and leave Yemen. But this accused national who was killed later also happened to be a drug addict, so a small dose of sedative didn't work, and Nimisha gave him a strong sedative, due to which he died. And later Nimisha also chopped her body parts along with that friend who had suggested her to give sedative. So the court convicted both the people in that murder case, but Nimisha was given the sentence of murder. The other Yemeni national who was involved in the crime was given the sentence of life imprisonment. And since then, her family has been trying to secure her release by negotiating with the victim's family, or the person who was killed, the Yemeni national's family, as well as by negotiating with the Yemeni government. Indian embassy in Saudi Arabia is involved in this entire story because India doesn't have a diplomatic presence in Yemen, and since 2017 it's barred for Indian nationals to visit Yemen. Nimisha Priya's mother travelled to Yemen after the Delhi High Court's order, where she had applied that she should be granted permission to visit Yemen, and since then some international agencies, human rights organizations have been raising this request, but it has all fell on deaf ears, as the Yemeni president also upheld the Supreme Court's order there in Yemen, which granted her death sentence. So now, as per the local reports, perhaps in a month's time she will be executed if no further intervention is done from the Indian side. So today, Indian External Affairs Ministry...
the Indian side really do at this moment, Ghazali? What intervention can happen?
See, we saw a similar report coming out of Qatar earlier this year, when 8 ex-naval officers were also given imprisonment on the charges of spying for Israel. That's far more severe case, but Indian diplomatic exercise maintained and somehow secured their release as well. So in this particular case, it is also it's a very complex situation, because the region in Yemen where Nimisha Priya has been held in captivity or in prison is controlled by the Houthi rebels, and we know that what kind of role they are playing in the West Asia conflict right now, and India is also seen siding with Israel in some sense or the other. So even in this particular case, perhaps the highest intervention, or intervention from the highest level, will only manage to secure her release, Nimisha Priya's release, and that is what the family is also banking on.
Thank you very much, Ghazali, for getting us those details. Earlier, my colleague Divya also spoke to Nimisha Priya's lawyer. Let's listen into what he had to say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chandran. Are there any legal options left for Nimisha Priya at this point in time?
Yeah, of course, there are legal options. Legal options in Yemen, the Sharia law prevails. So according to Sharia law, if the family is ready to give the pardon by receiving the diya money, so she can be saved her life from the execution. So this is, we understand. We spoke with some legal experts there, so we understand after Supreme Judicial Council's order, the final judgment. This is a formal procedure for giving the assent from the getting the assent from the president of Yemen. So still, if the family is ready to accept the diya money and pardon her, her life will be saved, and we are trying to explore that. But having said that, now we are facing a challenge because according to the Yemen prevailing situation, we are unable to reach out there. We are unable to travel to Yemen. So we need the support from the government of India. Only the union can support us. And if the union is intervening, and if union is means helping us to have the negotiation with the family, we, the Nimisha Priya International Action Council, is ready to pay whatever amount is demanded by the family for as diya money. So we request the Indian government, the union government, to immediately intervene to this issue and extend the all support for saving a life of Ms. Nimisha Priya.
Right, so extending all help is what the External Affairs Ministry has gone on to say, knowing that they're very fully aware of the case and of course what has really happened. But take us through, what really is needed as far as Priya's appeal is concerned. That has also been rejected because her release really depends on securing forgiveness from the victim's family and their tribal leaders.
So actually, we understand the negotiation, the discussion with the family is yet to be started. The initial discussions were happening with the tribal leaders there. So still the family is not given any kind of assent, or they did not deny to the offer of this diya money. So we will have to explore that option. That is the final option. If the family is ready to accept the diya money and pardon her, then her life will be saved. If the family says no, then there is no other option. So we are hopeful. We are still hopeful. We can approach that's the final option. So the family can be approached, and the family will be taken. They will consider our request. So, and for having this discussion I have already said. Now the difficulty is the prevailing political situation in Yemen. So none of the Indians are allowed to travel to Yemen as per right now. So we need the Indian mission support there, the Ministry of External Affairs support for having the discussion with the family. And once the family is ready, if they are accepting the diya amount, whatever amount they claims, we are ready to raise that as a public fund, and we will be transferring the amount according to their wish.
Right, Mr. Chandran, also, time is of essence here, and time seems to be running out because the execution sentence could be as early as within a month's time, according to media reports.
Yeah, exactly. We do understand that. Now the time frame is very, very limited. So 30 days time is there, and we are in a hurry. We are trying all possible ways, and the stakeholder, the major role can be played by the government of India, the union government. And apart from that, we are trying all the possible ways to taking many individuals or the Indian diasporas on board to resolve this issue. So we are hopeful. We are still hopeful we can save Nimisha Priya's life.